We just helped a multifamily owner sell a property that he had owned for almost 50 years. This owner built the property, managed it, maintained it, and treated it like it was part of the family. So when it came time to sell, it wasn't just another transaction, it was a transition. The property is 13 units located at 553 and 555 Victoria Street here in Costa Mesa, located on the west side. The property sold for $661,000 per unit, which equates to $8.6 million. This property was not your standard box building, just a standard regular apartment property. This was 8 single-story detached cottages with 5 townhouse units in the back that all had direct garage access that the owner had built in 1991. This was a one-of-a-kind property. And I want to talk through the deal story, how we helped this investor with the exit on selling, and also created an owner carry scenario where this seller investor ended up getting cash flow income stream after the sale of the property that is completely passive. The challenge was that the owner is now approaching 84 years old. He's self-managing the property, and he would like to get out of the responsibilities of being a housing provider. He doesn't want to manage the property anymore, but he's built up so much equity in the property, he really is just unsure on what he wants to do. But he'd like to simplify and sell. He was also concerned about the taxes because he's not going to do a 1031 exchange. So we had that as a challenge, and also we had the real estate market as a challenge. The real estate market has been a little bumpy since interest rates have shot up. So we had that challenge, and also as a result of that, we've seen a slower amount of transactions in the marketplace, which is reducing the amount of 1031 exchange buyers that are entering the market right now. So less exchange buyers entering the market, less exchange buyers offering on properties. So those were the overall challenges, and we want to talk about how we overcame them. The next step was action. Our client hired us to represent them in the sales and marketing process of the property. We navigated multiple offers on the property, but the right buyer didn't come together quickly. It took some time. So we were very patient in the process, not forcing a transaction. And ultimately, we found the right buyer through our broker network that came in with a 1031 exchange buyer that fell in love with the property and really wanted to lean in and make it work. And we were able to structure a win-win for our seller and also the buyer through an owner financing structure that gave cash flow to our seller without having to own the real estate and work the real estate, but it also worked for the buyer because they could lean in and acquire a great property. They were selling a property inland. They wanted to get into the Costa Mesa market. This was a great property. So we structured it to where they could come in, put a down payment down, the seller would carry the financing, and then the buyer would put in a little bit more down in a year's time. And they structured a 3-year interest-only scenario with a step-up interest rate. So the first year was at 4.5%, the second year was at 5.5%, and the third year was at 6.5%. So our seller was going to get a growing income stream, but it also allowed him to obtain a great price for the property. And again, the buyer was excited because they were able to get in and acquire and close escrow on the property, making a great exchange for their position as well. So it was a win-win. And finally, the result. The seller was able to get a great price for their property, and we handled all the heavy lifting from end to end. The contract handling, the negotiations, all the disclosures. This was a little overwhelming for our seller. This was the first time they have done this in many, many years. So it was new to them again. So we did in-person signing at their home. We walked them through every step of the way, holding their hand through the entire process. And at the end of the day, they got the price they were looking for, and they were also able to get a great income stream of over $200,000 per year, and they're not having to work the real estate. So they have pride in their decision, and they have peace of mind. And this really aligns with our why. This is why we do what we do. We feel so passionate about it, and why we work extra hard for our sellers. All the owners that are watching this video, you put so much stress, energy, and attention into the real estate you own. You deserve the best representation in the marketplace. So that is why we do what we do. That's why we're hardworking, and we're here to help and serve our customers. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video.